It's time for court today. Murtala, who went on legal vacation, even though the legal vacation in itself is not over, it will be over at the end of the month of September.
Yeah.
And today is the 16th. Quite a number of, about 2-3 more weeks to go. 2 weeks to go. But Murtala took his own legal vacation.
Decided to take his own legal vacation. Yes.
He decided to come back, after the bar conference. You're welcome, Captain.
Thank you, Sewa. And
so,
good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you too. Good morning to you too. You weren't at the bar conference, but I know that you monitored every single thing that happened. And so this morning, we're going to talk about the bar conference, because it was just last week.
Absolutely.
And some of the highlights.
Absolutely. So you notice that even before they started the bar conference, we analyzed some of the things that will be happening. And one of the highlights was the fact that the GBA will be electing new leaders and the kind of people who were contesting very interesting candidates coming up against each other and all that. And on Friday, the long week of the 2024 GBA conference ended in Kumasi. You have, for the first time, you have a lot of dignitaries coming together. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that is his last bar conference that he's attending. Otumfuo Osei was also there. The second was also there. The Attorney General, Godfred Dame, was also there. All of them were at this very conference. And this is the conference that you would love to be there, right? Because everybody in the legal setting that you want to think about were present. Whether you're a practicing lawyer or whether you're a lawyer and you are not practicing, you have to be there. As long as you are in good standing, this is the conference, more like the Mecca for the lawyers and all that. So beginning last week, Monday, a week today, and on Friday, the whole thing ended. And the highlight of, you guys are talking about Galamsey and all that. It took center stage. In fact, it was the setting that virtually all the industry players took time. They poured their heart out. The president was going, so he was not scared about what to say. The Attorney General was also possibly will also be leaving. He's also not scared of what he said. And the GBA president, the outgoing GBA president, was also very hard on it. But of course, there have been a lot of talking points in all that. First of all, let's go and hear from the one of the things that actually took place, Godfred Dame, who is the Attorney General.
But it's very worrying to have, everybody under one roof like that. You have the Chief Justice, the President, you have the Otumfuo,
the President of the bar.
You have the AG.
Why is it worrying?
Why is it worrying?
What if something happens?
That will happen.
Okay.
That will happen. So it was a very important gathering from Monday to Friday. And in fact, the new guy.
There was a lot of partying, by the way.
Oh, of course. When the lawyers meet, a lot of parties. And there are a lot who also travel out of the country. And they're already having a lot of. If you take the legal year as it is, it's a very, very stressful one. I was speaking to one lawyer, and sometimes you see from his face when he comes to court on his feet, you could see that he didn't sleep. So at a time like this, they have a lot of time, and especially so when they also move out of where they live, Kumasi, which they go to this legal year, then they rotate. Last year they were in the Volta region, this year in Kumasi, next year possibly there will be another region that will be hosting this whole matter. But the people have been talking on Monday, some of the things that took place. Let's go and hear from the Attorney General, Godfred Dame, what he has been saying in relation to Galamsey. You guys are talking about Galamsey. Let's hear from Godfred Dame on Galamsey.
Illegal mining, Galamsey, continues to cause irreparable damage to our forest reserves and water bodies. In the teeth of the difficulties prosecutors encounter in the courts in the prosecution of illegal mining offenses, the criminal division has enjoyed some success, even though there is still room for more to be done. From August 2021 to date, at least 76 persons, including 18 foreigners, have been convicted. They include the acclaimed Chinese Galamsey GHOne, who was convicted on 4th December 2023 of offenses committed between 2014 and 2016 in the era of the previous government. Most of the convicts were sentenced under the new law at 995 to a minimum of 15 years plus a hefty fine for a non-Ghanaian. Currently, over 140 minimum of 15 years plus a hefty fine in the case of a Ghanaian and a minimum of 20 years plus a fine for a non-Ghanaian, I'm sorry. Currently, over 140 cases of illegal mining involving over 850 accused persons are being prosecuted in courts in the Western, Eastern, Ashanti, Delta, and Upper East regions.
So that is Godfred Dame telling us what government is doing in Galamsey and talk about some of the cases that were Galamsey cases that are in court, those that have been resolved and those that have not been resolved. But the outgoing bar president, Yao Champon Boafo, also took 10 to have this point to make in relation to this Galamsey minutes that you guys even talked about earlier.
And is essentially straight to our nation so severe that His Excellency the President put his presidency on the line. Unfortunately, has degenerated into a political football match between the major political parties as to who polluted the water the most. It was quite shocking and most regrettable when a member of the leadership of Parliament on the floor of Parliament stated that the minority party during this period in government polluted the waters of Ghana more than the ruling party. Such irresponsible statement by a member of Parliament is symptomatic of the malaise affecting our dear nation. Every issue must be reduced to partisan point scoring while our nations bleeds dry. It reveals an uncaring political elite only interested in holding lofty positions in government. The state must be honest and deal with the real powers behind this menace. We cannot deal with Galamsey by organizing public fora and making noise on our airwaves. We will be playing the ostrich without future if we pretend as we are now. The government must be honest and bold and fish out this evil access of powerful interest.
Yes, so that is the president of the bar, outgoing president of the bar, because after one term, he decided that he's not seeking for a re-election. Absolutely, and so his term is about to end. Now that there has been an election of new executives, so for now and from now till when handing over is done, he has to be preparing his handing over note and order. So that is his view on Galamsey, and the issue of Galamsey has taken a center stage virtually the whole week on that. And the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was there. And you know, one of the flagship programs that he actually, his legacy will be remembered for the free senior high school. The GBA has been making the case about education and the fact that even scholarship issues, people who can even pay, can afford to pay, are those who are even enjoying it and all that. The president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has this message in relation to education for the people.
People who can afford to pay fees for the education of their wards should send them to fee-paying private schools. Public schools, that is schools funded by the taxpayer, should be free to all who would otherwise be unable to pay for their education. That is why the numbers of pupils who have access to secondary education has doubled since the introduction of the free senior high school policy. And that over 5.7 million persons have benefited from the policy since its inception. The full impact of this dramatic development will be felt in due course and will far outweigh the small number of privileged parents who can afford to pay for the education of their wards.
So that is the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, giving the people what he thinks the setting of education and all the things that his government has done and how people should, those who are privileged, how they can go about seeking education, and those who are underprivileged, how they can, for which reason his administration decided to come up with the free senior high school policy. Of course, one person was also at the conference, and he was taking members of the bar through some of the election-related activities. And you notice that, when was the first time that you heard the issue about the pink sheets? So, you notice the 2012 presidential election. Yeah. That is where the issue of the pink sheet took center stage. And then the issue of the pink sheet, we are told that it is the primary source of whether you win an election or you lose an election. Let's hear from Dr. Kojo Afari-Gyan, the former electoral commissioner, taking the bar through all that they need to do, including the foundation of how the pink sheet came about.
Another factor, that I talked about two factors. There's another thing that must call attention to here. The pink sheets. Thanks to Galamsey, pink sheets. You know, Galamsey is the one who gave the name pink sheets. You don't? Oh, you see, the practice in the Electoral Commission was to print them in different color for different elections. All right? So this year we printed them in green. Maybe you were able to put some of them in your pocket for use next time. So next time we print them in red. So that year we printed them in pink. All right? So when he went to court, he called them pink sheets. And now they've become, it's fine, it's all right, it's nice. Pink is a very nice color. But the pink sheets are the most important, the only source documents for reconstructing election results. Please take it from me that the pink sheets are the most important, if you like, the source documents for reconstruction of election results. See, that's what we mean when we say elections are won or lost at the polling station. That's what it means.
So the relevance of why Dr. Afari-Gyan was at this conference was that you know that as lawyers, we are in election year and a lot of election disputes will come where you need to start from, where you need to go, the kind of document that you need to assemble before you can go to court and succeed is why Dr. Afari-Gyan was at that particular conference to take them through. You know, when it comes to parliamentary election, you start from the High Court and it terminates at the Court of Appeal. Presidential election petition, one and only, the Supreme Court. So for lawyers, and especially the young ones, you need to learn about all these things. One of the reasons that Dr. Afari-Gyan was at that particular forum. So they learned a lot. Then the highlights of the GBA conference, the 2024 GBA conference, which ushers them into the new legal year. And it was about the election of new executive. The outgoing president, Yao Boafo-Achampo, decided that he was not seeking re-election. So the presidency, Ifuagati, and then Agbesi Japasu brought themselves out for selection. And of course, at the end of the contest, the women dominated. So the bar conference, we have the women taking over. Both the president and then the vice president, all of them were taken over by the female or the women. And guess who won it? We already know who won this very contest. It was Ifuagati Twice, she's lost the contest, but third time, lucky, of course. It shows the kind of the person that she is. She didn't want to give up. The can-do spirit and want to go, even though when you lose a battle for the first time, you don't give up. And she did that for the third time. She was lucky. She was voted for the people. She secured over 1,000 plus votes against Agbesi Japasu, who at the time many thought that he was favorite to win this very election. But of course, Ifwagati. But she's been speaking about what this whole mandate given to her it's all about. He said, look, it's good that the men has given the mantle to the ladies. Trust us, we won't disappoint you. Let's listen to Ifyagati.
It is time that we put our shoulders to the plow and work to deliver what we believe should be the bar in progress. This indeed is something new, something novel, that the bar, for the first time, has entrusted leadership to the ladies. And I know that with God's help, we shall make you proud. We shall serve you with all our ability. And we shall make sure that you will never, never regret this choice. What we ask for moving forward is that not only do you pray for us, but also you hold our hands, because we are very much aware that even though we are females, we have the backing of the males. So we shall work together, and we know that together we'll paint a beautiful picture. God bless you all.
So that is Mrs. Ifwagati, the new GB president-elect. So now, for the first time, have the president.
You know what many people don't know is that she's the wife of Joe Gatti.
Yes, Joe Gatti, the former, in fact, she
Attorney
stood,
General.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and then just
MP for
NPP.
Esikadu Ketan.
Yes, Ketan.
Yeah.
Yes, in the Western
And
region.
former railway minister.
Absolutely, and she contested for the presidential slot for the MPP.
Joe Gatti.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he lost that. So he's not a small. He's a big fish, and she was there to support the wife. And for him, Mrs. Ifwagati has made him proud and make women proud. And then Mrs. Victoria Bath was also there to support them and all that. So that's what happened in relation to the bar conference. But there's an artwork that I want to show you, which summarizes the new executive of GBA. The president, the bar president, of course. So on your screen there. So the president, Ifwagati, is the president. The vice president, Victoria Bath. Bafo Jehu is the secretary. Aurelius Awuku, assistant secretary. Then Xavier Kuje. Xavier Kuje is the PRO. He went unopposed. Yes, he went unopposed. And he's there. And then Lauretia Adeka, she's a state attorney at the office of the Attorney General, and she's the assistant PR. So the new executive, in November, they will be sworn in and they will take over from there. So that's it in relation to the bar conference.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the deal. It's nice seeing you guys back.
Yes. Thank you so much.
So
We'll
much.
see you
Thank
again tomorrow, God willing,
Most
when
definitely.
you bring us some updates, if there are any, from the lower courts, right?
Absolutely.